Hello, welcome to this episode, the latest episode, I should say, of Shooting the Shit, a Tottenham talk show with me, leader Dorset Spur. We're back. I'm not even sure what episode this is now. Is this episode 17 or is this 18? Who knows? I can't remember what episode we're at now. It says at the top 17, but I'm not even sure it's 17, to be honest with you. I've lost all sense of time and space, to be honest. Tonight, I have with me my good friend Jason from South Dorset Spurs, who is standing in for young Mason, who's away on a dirty weekend in Krakow. We'll give him that. We'll give him that the opportunity to get away from it all and not suffer this conversation. Hey, Jace, how you doing, mate? Thanks for stepping in. Really appreciate it, buddy.
No, not at all. Alex arrived in the Krakow time for this podcast, so it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, looking forward to a discussion about Spurs this evening. We haven't got much to talk about.
No, not a lot to talk about. Dean, good to see you back, buddy. I hope you're feeling all right.
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a day. I've had a day to kind of, calm down. I've been for a long massage. I've sat in the sauna and all that kind of relaxation stuff. So I'm feeling good. Alex, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Good to see your brother sat there on your corner. Really great artwork there from the missus. All by freehand. Are you going to show everybody your effort?
No, the elves did it. It wasn't me. The elves did it. So there you go. Let's just put that away. The elves did it. The naughty elves did it.
Okay, so for anybody who is listening to this tomorrow rather than watching it live, there is not only one penis on show, there is two, because Alex now has one drawn on his window as a part of his Christmas decorations. There is a brilliant gonk part there that his missus did. So fair play to her.
Freehand.
Yeah, because I said it was a stencil, but they actually showed a video of her doing it. So I have to give her kudos for that. I have to say.
Showed me a video of that, and look, that's what I think of Sunday.
He actually sent me a video of him doing that as well, which was,
Well, I thought it was funny. I'd come back from a good day. Well, not a bad day. I had to liven it up a bit, so I drew a cock on the window. Immature, really. But there you go.
I just deleted it and moved on. Listen, anyway, guys. Anyone's in the comments, anyone watching, feel free to chip in with how you're feeling at the moment about this season, but in particular how we got on in the Chelsea game and all the rest of it. We'll try and put up whatever comments we can. If there's questions in there, we'll try and answer them as well. But loads and loads to talk about. We should really talk about Bournemouth as well. But to be honest with you, I don't think we're going to get there because I think there's so much to talk about. So I'm going to start off. Let's just talk about Chelsea. See how far we get. We've got obviously Rangers to come to us. So we've got that to talk about as well, which is just crazy how quickly these games come around when you're playing 2 games a week. Doesn't give you time to really get over it, I guess, before you're into the next realms of it. So anyway, look, let's kick it off. Jason, I'll come to you first. The starting lineup, we saw the return of Van der Ven and Romero. Was that a big shock for you?
Complete shock. I don't think many people expect. I heard rumours of Romero coming back, but the Van der Ven thing was completely off-piste. I didn't expect that at all. They kept that one quiet right up until the last hour before the game. So it then added a little bit of optimism to everybody that we might just have a chance. A little bit of false optimism, obviously, in the end. But yeah, no, it was like, my goodness, we that's almost back to where we need to be with the squad, with Romero and Van der Ven back 4 settled. Midfield, not quite sure, and then the up front looked reasonably okay. So I was like, we've got a little glimmer of hope there, glimmer of hope. And initially it was great to have them back, wasn't it? Mickey Van der Ven, especially, absolutely wonderful, wasn't he? Those minutes that he was on the pitch, and we need those guys, and to lose those guys so quickly is a bit of a major blow again. So not good, not too good to lose them quite so quickly.
I guess I didn't see it until we got into the ground and started seeing the lineup coming up, and like I say, I was totally shocked by it. I was hopeful of it. I did call it out and say I was hopeful that this could be a bit of a return for those guys, but I didn't think it was going to happen because we hadn't had any talk about it. It'd kind of been. So I guess, Dean, let me ask you: did you think that was a plan for a while? Do you think he'd kind of just kept it under wraps? That was always his plan to try and get back for this game?
Yeah, but that's what it seemed like. I mean, you've heard the comments afterwards as well that he was only going to play 60, maybe 65 minutes. We was all in LTs, and all of a sudden, like it was like a wildfire. It was like a big rumour coming around, and they would have started singing Van der Ven. And Dale on the DJ went, "What?" So he then checked the squad and then started playing the Mickey Van der Ven song. So yeah, it was great. It did give us a little bit of false optimism, as it turns out. But yeah, and he was still good. He was still good, still putting in a shift. So I don't think we played bad. We could have played better. There's just a couple of stupid mistakes. But yeah, having them back gives everybody else, optimism and makes everybody else play that little bit more. But we push up too much with them two in. It allows us to push them up and sort of rely on Mickey's pace. But good to have him back. Hopefully it's just a bit of tiredness and he'll be back again. Probably not Rangers, but he might be for the weekend for sure.
Yeah. I guess, like in my mind, I was like, maybe he had this in mind all the time to try and get those back for that game, and that's why he was maybe, stretching the squad as such, trying to get other players in and see if we could get over the line for those games, which obviously we didn't. But so, Alex, just coming to you, so was that, like, when you're looking at that squad or that team that went out today, was that the strongest lineup that you thought we could put out there? Didn't think there was anybody really else you could kind of bring in, no?
Yeah, people in LTs were talking about it was good, strong lineup. Even on the bench again. But we keep doing it, don't we? We keep putting good teams out, good teams sitting on the bench, good teams on playing on the pitch, and they still fuck it up. So
yeah,
it was I thought it was an entertaining game. Like Dean said, I think we did play well. Chelsea are just a bunch of cheating people. But I think I could have said that a bit worse, but they are just fucking cheats, mate. But yeah, no, Van der Ven, is he injured or was he just tired?
so they're saying that he's got a tightness rather than an injury.
He was rubbing his thigh again. Yeah, no, he was rubbing his thigh. I mean, yeah, no, it's a bit concerning when I see him do that. And then you got Johnson, who's got a cold. He wanted to come off because his nose started to run faster than he can. But yeah, a bit disappointing. But yeah, no, he's all right, Van der Ven, because he looked like he wanted to play. It's just worrying when he was rubbing his thigh, and then obviously they took him off, which is the right thing to do.
I mean, Ange said that all of them wanted to play, right? That they were chomping at the bit to get on the pitch. They really wanted to play. Disappointing, obviously. With Romero going off, but that's a different injury, right? So he's been injured out with this toe problem, but they're saying that this is a quad. He's pulled his quad, so that's going to be another 6 weeks. That's a big miss, Alex, right?
Well, yeah, of course. It seems to be any injury that we get in our team seems to be double than anyone else's. So obviously he's looking forward to Christmas at home with his poor foot up in the air. So yeah, I just when you say they all wanted to play, I would have agreed that in the first 10, 15 minutes because they were battling hard and it was good. Chelsea getting it. They were going in hard, but then when we went up front, they just started to not be so hard, which was a bit disappointing, really, because I really thought we were going to do it. Really, really did think, and and just looking at all the fouls now, that should have been a red card. That's what happened to Sarr. That referee was a prick. The linesman on our side, he should have used these, because the decisions were going against us that should have gone for us. And some of the decisions that went against us, they scored from.
Yeah.
But so going off topic a bit.
I've actually got those points. I've actually got those points down to kind of debate a little bit later. So Dean, let me come back to you. Did you before the game? Was you honestly expecting us to win? Was your view that this was a winnable game?
No, I think we come up with it's either going to be a draw, or I think I said we were going to lose 3-2. But that was before Romero and Van der Ven came back. Having them back sort of changed the dynamic of our team quite a bit. But yeah, especially when went up like 2-0 up, I was not expecting that. And then we could have been 3-0 up. 3-0 up, it would have been a totally different game. It really would. But
You've been more than that.
I mean, I've seen all these things, all these memes and other bits and pieces that ballad around going, Tottenham will get battered. It was 4-3. That's not a battering. It just isn't. 4-0 is. 4-3 is not. Although, I must say, the third goal flattered us a little bit because we just stepped off the gas. Where we was pressing, they started to press. And that's what we do. We do this a lot of games. We sort of come out the traps, right? We get at them, press, all over. And then it starts, and then it's just Solanke pressing or just Sonny making a press. You can't press like that. You've either got to press as a team or not press at all. So, yeah, but I said to Ryan, who was sitting next to me, I said, would you take 2-2 now? Would you take this draw? And he went, no, I want to win. And then when it was 4-3, he went, yeah, I should have took the draw.
yeah. Jace, just touching on what Dean said there, how was you feeling at 2-0 up?
I'd gone into the game not thinking we were going to win the game. We've had a really bad record against Chelsea, no matter if we're at home or away. So, and they were on a quite a good streak, and they're one of the most progressive teams at the moment. They're exciting to watch, and some of the players like Cole Palmer are quite exceptional. So, for us to go 2-0 up against that team, we were in dreamland. And like Dean said, we could have been 3-4 up within the first 25 minutes. We just didn't take the chances. We just weren't clinical enough. When individuals had the chance to have a shot, they didn't. It's like when we think about it, when we start to think about things, we don't shoot. When it's fluid and fast and they like the first two goals were done in a flash. No one had time to think. It was bang, bang. Yeah. We got the goals. And then we were kind of in dreamland, but we always sit back and we go, we need a couple more. We always do that recently, don't we? Especially after Brighton. So we sat there and there were many moments we're off our seats going, wow, why didn't that go in? That was just, it was so close. We need it. And then Jadon Sancho was given that opportunity to slice through everybody and score on 2-1. And you're going into half-time thinking, oh, no, we've absolutely missed, this opportunity. And that's how it transpired. And the second half, without those two in defence and the momentum was with Chelsea, unfortunately, and it shouldn't have been. The atmosphere in the ground, especially with the build-up and everything, meant if we pushed forward, we'd have the momentum not only with the crowd but the players, and it just didn't happen. It didn't transpire that way. They were set up to win, Tottenham, especially after the first 20 minutes, and then they threw it away again. Yeah. So that we were pressing absolutely fantastic. We were bullying them. I mean, Gary Neville said a while back when we played that Arsenal, we won the 3-0. We bullied Arsenal, right for 90 minutes, and it was kind of that feel in the first quarter of the game. And then they just stepped off it. We were getting our boot in. We were really riling them up, and then it just dropped. That's what's disappointing to see. We wanted to see them leave something on the pitch. but
Yeah.
they just looked absolutely knackered, unfortunately, towards the end.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say though is Dragusin, where Mickey van der Ven would get the ball, and if he couldn't see a player to get past it to, he would just boot it out of the, as far away as he could. Just get the thing out of the way to relieve the defence. Where the opposite, with the players that came in, were just giving the ball away. If they couldn't they were just finding Chelsea players everywhere. And that's why we suffered so much. I think it just gave them opportunities that they shouldn't have had.
I mean, I'll be honest. When we were, because we obviously travelled up together in the minibus, and it was a very subdued minibus. To be honest with you, on the way up, I thought it was fairly quiet. But generally, sometimes it can be a bit like that. It was only one minibus going up and everything else. But we had some tunes on and all the rest of it. But even in LTs, and Alex, I said to you, it seems a bit quiet in here. There was hardly any people in there, and that got to the ground. And I thought, walking down the high road, I said to my son-in-law Ian, "There's no one around. Like, where is everybody?" So I was really surprised when the crowd was as big as it was. I had no expectations of a win, if I'm honest. When we were 2-0 up, mate, I was in absolute dreamland. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I was like, this is it. This is the one. We've just got to keep going. The only problem was I kept watching from a defensive point of view. Obviously, they were attacking in the first half. They were attacking the south stand, Chelsea, and Jadon Sancho had so much space behind Porro, and he was kind of just in acres. And we were all shouting at him, "He's behind you!" Like, it was a bit of one of those, like, you're in a pantomime. I know it's Christmas time, but it was almost like, "He's behind you," and he's like not looking, and you could kind of just see it coming. It was just so frustrating. And so Sancho kind of just tiptoed through the defence like we weren't there, and put it in the back of the net. So for me, it just looked like it was coming the whole time. Dean, did you feel like that? Like, I know we were 2-0 up, but did you feel like it's coming? Like, you could see them growing into the game?
Yeah, the problem is, I feel sorry for Porro because he gives his all. So he's up the top and then comes like screaming back. But Brennan's got to do his bit as well.
Yeah.
Right. So if Brennan's not running, not chopping back, then Porro's got them all. He gets blamed for stuff that it ain't his fault. It used to happen to oh Christ, Jaffet, Tanganga. He was trying to get up there because that was how he played again. Get back, and they're going, "Oh, you should have done this." Yeah, but nobody was checking back with him. He was on his own.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got to get that bit right. We can't attack, but not have any defence. It's like I say, Porro's running back, Dragusin, who was on, like, he come across, but there was three of them. Then that's what they made, that triangle all the way around him, and like Jadon Sancho. Then that's when Brennan has to come back, or a midfield has to come across, because it was all, so much of it was down that their left hand side, and it happens all the time. The amount of times that we get goals from that left, their left, our right, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Happens. You look back, how many goals have scored from that side? Because it's a weakness. Because we have a brilliant attacker like Brennan, who's supposed to be lightning quick, but he wants to be up there. I get it. You don't want to constantly be backwards and forwards, and that's what Chelsea done. They didn't play out from the back a lot of the time. That ball was in the air, like going across our midfield, and then it was down to our defenders to sort it out. Whereas we would play out from the back. Sometimes you have to change your game up. We do all this, right, invite him on. Then there should be so much real estate for Brennan to go into, for Sonny to go into, for Solanke to go into. But we don't. We still try and play through all of their players rather than go over the top and then chase it in how we used to, like when we used to counter-attack, when it used to be Sonny and Kane. We don't do that anymore. We try to play out from the back.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'll come to you, Alex. What did you think of Porro's defensive work? I thought there was, like, for me personally, I thought there was a couple of occasions where he kind of really did the right thing. He came in, he cleared the ball, and you could see he was pumped for it and everything. but he did get caught out a few times. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. And I think he is great at going forward. But I agree with Dean. I think he's got to have more support from Brennan Johnson, to come in and support him, because he can't do it on his own, right? Up and down that wing, because he is basically charging up that right wing, right? What did you think of Oro?
Yeah, no, he's great when he comes on the pitch. He always gives us a bit of a wave. He's always you can see he's pumped up for it, and he just doesn't stop running, sort of thing. Again, where I'm sitting, he's right, right in front of me. But on the first goal, he Sancho's just gone behind him, sort of thing. And he can't turn round. He's tried to turn around and catch up with him. It's too late. So yeah, he does need. I mean, he's got two other people next to when Sancho's got the ball. It's too late. So he does need support, because they've just left it to him on that first goal. And he hasn't stopped running from when he's come down from where I am if we're going that way on left. He's come across. He hasn't stopped running. He's backtracked. He's trying to catch up. It's just too late. Where the other two have just run up and stopped. So he puts a shift in all the time. So I concur with Dean, mate. He does need more support, But I think he's a great player, solid player.
Yeah, I just worry that he's trying to do too much, and we're not defending as a solid unit, and he's kind of getting pulled into the middle, and we get caught out a lot on that side. The way they were switching the play from one side to the other was really concerning. Really concerning.
You are right. I mean, they did. He had. There was plenty of room for Sanchez to just be running around, sort of thing. We noticed that, but he's here, there, and everywhere. But then it seems that most of the players are like that, sort of thing. 1 minute they're in position, next minute they're doing something else. Should they be doing it, or should they not be doing it? And they can't. They can't do it on their own. They do. If one's going for it, he needs that person going for the ball. They need an option. They can't just tackle the ball and run it all the way down the other end. Someone needs to go with them and give them an option to get round the obstacle that's in front of them.
What I was going to say, it does show the difference. Jadon Sancho, I thought was really good on Sunday, and you consider, how he kind of really fell out with Ten Hag and all the rest of it. It just shows you what a player that's in there, and if you've got the right attitude and the right kind of relationships, what he can make. It looks to me like he's really enjoying his time at Chelsea, and unfortunately, I think he's going to be a good player for them. Jason, let me come back to you. I know Alex touched on it already, and that's why I'm going to come to you instead, because he's kind of giving his view. But the red card, or not a red card, the tackle on Sarr from Caicedo. How do you see that one?
Yeah, I don't think the referee had a particularly good game anyway, and whoever was in the back room with him on VAR clearly has had a bit of a mare as well. You can see from the stills how horrible that tackle was, and you just wonder, where the consistency comes from with some of these decisions. That would have been a massive game changer for us in our favour, but also maybe we got away with one as well with Kulusevski when he took a chunk out of the head of the Chelsea player with his elbows. So I think these things can balance themselves out a little bit. But it's not great to see. And maybe they were going down to sort of stud level where they went, well, it's only one stud rather than two, so we'll let it go. And that's that. But again, it seemed to be a lot going in their favour, which is remarkable because normally, we a home team normally gets a little bit more of a run of the mill, but it appeared that wasn't the case on Sunday. So these decisions are critical. They're game changers, and who knows where it would have been if that player had gone off. So it's it's not great, is it?
No, I'd say I saw it. From where we are in the South Stand, straight away you're looking at it and thinking, oh, that looks bad. When you're seeing the pictures of it, and I'm thinking, to me, it looks just like Romero. It looked just like that. It looked like he'd kind of gone through him. I think what maybe saved him was the fact that someone else is there with him coming from the side, and maybe they didn't get a great view of it. But from the pictures, and it's easy from the pictures and from replays and stuff, it kind of does make it look worse. I do agree with you that generally speaking, these things do balance themselves out, and I don't necessarily think to myself, oh well, if that hadn't have happened, we would have definitely won the game or anything of that nature. But I did think that was a poor decision. Just touching on your point about the refereeing, Dean, I just want to ask you about the refereeing decisions overall. It seemed to me that if you was in a blue shirt and you got touched, that was it. That was a free
They've all
kick.
been touched.
But if you was in a white shirt, there was like it felt like you weren't getting anything. I know we did get a lot. We did, right. Let's be honest, we did get a load really. But I just think to myself, it felt like every single decision just went their way.
Yeah, but again, we've had this discussion so many times. The dark arts, we don't do it. We don't do it nowhere near enough.
So do you think Sarr should have made more of it then? Like, I read somewhere that he really should have rolled about and screamed and cried and all the rest of it.
Without a doubt. But, we do it so often. We just bounce up and go, okay, we'll crack on. How many times have we been labelled as we're too nice, right? You watch Man United, like with Fernandes, he gets touched and he's like, he's rolling down the pitch, mate. We should have done that. We should have bounced about or sort of, somebody else should have come running over, something. Or somebody, even people on the bloody Ange ain't never going to do it. But he should have been up in the air going, oh, look at that, and bringing a fourth official over, going, look at this, look what he's done.
Conte definitely would have been. Mourinho would have been all over that. He'd have been jumping up and down like a madman about that, for sure. For sure.
But that's it. We don't do it. And the amount of times that we get sort of dragged back, Maddison does it, but because he falls on the floor all the time, they go look at, he's on the deck again. But they do. They get touched, or they go up for a ball, and they don't win it. They crumple in a heap. So it goes, okay, well, that must have been a foul. So
head injury. Must be a head injury or something.
They grab them all the time. You watch them, they go down and they're holding their head. Game has to stop. It's the dark arts, mate. It is definitely the dark arts. We don't do it enough. Was it Mourinho? Was it Mourinho who was saying about? Yeah, was it Mourinho who kept on about the dark arts?
Yeah,
we don't do it.
Yeah, he said you have to be cunts at times.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's my word.
Alex, he said Alex is desperate to say something. Go on, Alex. Let me
busting
at
the seams, busting at the seams. Because I've got my laptop in front of me.
Hang on.
Shut up.
I ain't finished.
Shut up. Oh, go on. Oh, go on then. Hurry up, Dean.
No, I'm finished now.
Right.
No, but hang on.
Shut up. Right. Kulusevski's elbow. Oh, okay. He has contact. But is it Lana? He turns about, 180 degrees, then looks, then holds his head, and then goes down like a cheap prostitute, right? So, like Dean said, the dark arts. He goes round, you can see him looking. He goes around and goes, ooh, he literally turns around 180 degrees, then goes, oh, hang on, I've got an head injury, and falls on the fucking floor in front of the ref. Cheats, mate. Cheating Chelsea, mate. Cheating Chelsea.
Let me stick with you just because while we're talking about this, right? Because I have got this written down, right? Before we talk about Bissouma giving away the penalty, but before Bissouma gave away the penalty, he ran himself into trouble and tried to buy a foul. Is that not dark arts, Alex? Do you think was he trying to buy the foul there? And when he didn't get it, that put us bang in trouble, right?
Yeah. Basically, he got a bit frustrated with it, didn't he? Really, that he didn't get it, sort of thing. And then he done that lunge, and then that's where it all went to shit. To be honest with you, God knows what he was thinking. He goes in for the tackle far too late. He was just annoyed that he didn't get his foul. I reckon he just got up and gone, "Oh, fuck that! I'll have another go."
Well, he was halfway up the pitch, right? He was halfway up. He's pretty much on the halfway line. And he's turned back, he's in trouble. So he turned forward again to try to go up the line, gets knocked over. And he's the one, and they're at the back. They transition the ball, and they're playing it around at the back. And he comes airing back and slides in. He's on one of those things that down the hill. When you put water on it and he comes sliding in. He comes sliding in, literally gets nowhere near the ball, takes him out. I mean, his head's gone, right?
Yeah. definitely. He's just lost it. He's just seen red, isn't he? Then you got that Palmer prick that puts in the back of the net and thinks he's scored the goal of the century. And that's what annoys me when you're listening to the radio. Everyone's going about how great Chelsea are. They've got a £1 billion team. You know, scrap the 2 penalties that they shouldn't have had. We got a draw. We should have won. You know, they're not that fucking good. And it just really winds me up. But Basuma's done that. And then you got this, obviously, you can talk about Sarr later. You know, if they hadn't have just lost their focus, you know, the whole outcome would have hopefully would have changed for the better for us. But what
Yeah.
annoys me is that the Chelsea got two penalties. Of course, you could have scored a penalty against that great big lump that can't get on the floor for us at the moment, right? And they just walk around there. Yeah, what is he, an hammer? Or he's doing that or whatever he's doing. Mate, you didn't create the goal, did you? You just scored a penalty, so you ain't that fucking good. It infuriates me, and I have to say, I did leave about 8 minutes early because I just couldn't bear it anymore. I just went
Because
indoors.
you didn't even know we'd scored the third goal, right?
No, I watched it from the monitor along the pub, like the halfway line, what you want to call it.
See, it's a schoolboy error. It's a schoolboy error, really. It's a schoolboy error, and you've gone down in my estimations as a Tottenham fan.
Me leaving early.
Yeah, you never leave before the end of the game. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's just not fun. It's just not fun.
I know that, but I was just so disappointed and infuriated in the tourist section that I sit in. I don't think I would have done the UK any favours by the language would have been used. So, I left the building.
Well, I'm going to come. Let me come to Jason for a bit of
normality,
a bit of sensible talk, right? Because you're obviously very passionate about hating Chelsea, and I'm with you, right? I hate Arsenal because I'm a Tottenham fan. I hate Chelsea because I'm a human, right?
You like West Ham, though?
I don't like West Ham, so I hate them as well. But I have to say, from my point of view, Cole Palmer, I thought he was great. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Jace, what did you make of him?
Sorry, what podcast were we on? What are we doing?
No, listen, you've got to be balanced. You've got to be balanced, right? It's infuriating. It's infuriating that a player like that has been pushed out of Man City. He's rocked up at Chelsea and he's just running the show. And
I don't care.
He's a fantastic player, sort of player you would love to have in your team, right? Jace, back me up. Am I talking crap or what?
So I have to back you up now. Is that right? Oh,
we don't have to.
Before you answer the question, he wore red last week. He's talking about Chelsea this week, and he's worn West Ham trainers on a day out. So I don't know what leads on.
Look,
don't make me press the button. Don't make me press the button to cut you off. I'll tell you, Jason. Let's get back to talking about the game. How good did you think that Cole Palmer was in that game?
I might be wrong, but the celebration is something to do with Cold Palmer. He's trying to keep warm, isn't he, or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex. But
rubbish. It's a rubbish celebration anyway. And
I thought that was a Chelsea one.
Right. So before we go into Chelsea loving, it's we're at the end of the day, we're all football fans, aren't we? We love Spurs, but we're all football fans. We like to see the best players. You know, when I saw Ronaldo at Wembley playing for Real Madrid and all that sort of stuff, that's what you want to do. Some of you went to see Messi, Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to see the best players. Now, Cole Palmer is not there yet, but he's a fantastic player. He's great for England when he came on and he scored, in the final or whatever. And he is a player that, gets you off your seat, mainly for England, not for Chelsea, because obviously I'm not a Chelsea fan, but he's a talented man. He's a talented player. And that's what you want to see. They've got a few talented people in there. Jadon Sancho, you talked about. He was fantastic for Dortmund first time round, wasn't he? And now he's just coming back to some of his best form.
Yeah.
And, they're lucky. They've got the critical thing is they've spent whatever money they've spent, £1 billion, and look what they've got. They were down, they were out. Chelsea, they were on the decline, and they just get the checkbook out and they splash the cash and have all these fantastic players that you love in your fantasy football team. And you're like, I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest with you. That's what I am. A
Yeah.
little bit jealous because I just wish our lot would do that. I wish our
Yeah.
lot would get that magic checkbook out and splash the cash, no matter what. Just to try and get that extra step, that extra notch up the ladder. And it's just a shame. And we can sit there and say how horrible Chelsea are. And they are horrible. But at the end of the day, their fans are ecstatic. Look what they got to watch. Look what they got at their disposal. And
I mean,
it's,
they are horrible. They're horrible fans and that anyway. Right?
Yeah.
It's a horrible club with horrible fans and all the
Oh,
rest of it.
here he goes. He's trying to get back there.
But the annoying thing is about it, right, is that they've spent all that money. Everyone's taking the piss because they've got 40 odd players and all the rest of it. But they've still managed to stay within the fair play rules. They're not in any kind of trouble and all the rest of it because they've used this thing of putting on these mega long contracts that spreads out their fees and their pay and all the rest of it to get around it. So they're finding a way to cheat the system and that anyway, right? And then they can attract players like Jadon Sancho and Cole Palmer and players of that kind of Neto and players of that kind of ilk.
Yeah.
And we can't, and we don't. And it's just really, really frustrating. And I've got to say, I mean, obviously, I was loving it when we were 2-0 up. But at some point, you have to sit back and go, like, their movement and that in the game was just too much. Our players just could not cope with it. They're playing 2 games a week. The squad's really, really thin. It's being pulled from left to right. We're playing trying to play this high-intensity football twice a week, which is just not sustainable. And Ange he's got to take some level of responsibility for that, in terms of, if you're running these players into the ground, training, and then you're playing them 2 games a week and you're not able to kind of share the workload, then you're going to end up with this situation. And yet you look across the way at Chelsea, they got, 65 players that they can pick from and do whatever they like with. And then, but the quality of them is decent as well. And we can't attract that. That's why I'm frustrated. And that's why I'm calling out the Cole Palmer thing, because I think he is a really, really good player. And it's the sort of player you'd love to have in your team. Surely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's just a shame we played for Chelsea and not us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move on then and talk about, Dean, let's talk about the Sarr penalty. I mean, that's just stupidity, right? I mean, I know you've said it so many times about him being as thick as shit, but that is a thick as shit penalty to give away, right?
The 3 of them in there, there's Sarr, Udogie and Basuma, right? They all share a brain cell. Fuck knows who had it today, that on Sunday, mate. They must have left it in a changing room because Udogie was doing some weird and wonderful stuff. And the Biss and Pat, I like Pat. I've got a lot of time for Pat. But again, back to the dark, he hardly touched him. Palmer was going nowhere. He was going towards the corner flag and trying to come out. Just let him go. Just shepherd him out. Put him outside. If you're going to make a foul, make sure it's outside the fucking... See the big white line? Not in there. Outside the white line. Honestly, mate. Fucking...
He did give him a shove, though.
Yeah, he didn't need to. He was going nowhere. Shepherd him out, right? You can get touch tight, but you haven't got to keep putting... As soon as they feel it, they're going to go down.
Of course they are, especially when they're in a penalty area. I mean, you
and they're
you
by their
definitely
own
would
fans,
do that, right?
They're by their own fans. So as soon as he goes bush and he goes on the floor, they're all going to jump up in the air because that's what we do down our end.
Yeah.
But it's stupidity. It really is. It just does my nutting. The amount of times they come down there and I'm going, leave him up, leave him up, leave it. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's not hard. We don't get paid these stupid millions of pounds, and we can go, don't touch him, don't touch him. If you've ever watched, did you ever watch Stir Crazy? Grossberger, don't touch him, don't touch him. That's it. That's what you like. Don't touch him.
Showing your age now, Dean.
I'm touching him now. Fucking, why did you do that? It's just madness, absolute madness. But like Al said, without them two, would have beaten 3-2.
Yeah,
More,
I mean,
more than that, if Son was switched on.
let me come to that. Let me come to that, Alex, because it is my next point. Right? Is we did have chances in that game. If Son had just squared that ball to Timo,
Oh,
I mean,
mate.
that would have been. I think that would have been 3-3, right?
You've got
Yeah,
to remember though
definitely.
that just before that moment, there was the flag went up for offside, didn't it?
Yeah,
And there
yeah.
was a lot of hesitation by the Chelsea fans, and I think there was hesitation by our players as well. And I think Sonny just went, "Oh, I've got the ball now. I'll do what I'm going to do," rather than thinking. It was a mad moment that went on, and had he had a bit more time and that flag hadn't gone up and all the rest of it, I think maybe he would have squared it away.
Well,
I
I
think it
don't
was
know
just one of the
because
moments.
No,
it was right. It was
when you was at school, right? When you're at school playing football, what's the thing you're taught?
Yeah,
don't touch.
Play to the
Don't
whistle.
touch.
You play
Play
to
to
the
the
Right.
whistle.
yeah.
And
That was that
nowadays,
hesitation.
you put it in the
Well,
back of the net.
you're talking about that offside. That was when Udogi was in front of him, right? And
Yeah,
he ran
Yeah.
towards the ball,
Yeah,
yeah,
left the
and
ball.
yeah.
and everyone was
He
He left
shouting,
it.
leave it,"
Well,
Leave it.
and
it was. It was right.
and then
It
he
was right
kind
in
of come
front of
in.
me. He was
Yeah.
right in front of me, and we all shouted out like "Leave
Everyone
it," and
sort
he
of
just
stopped and
stopped,
then
and he
carried on
stopped.
again.
He stopped, and
Yeah.
then Son just carried on.
Then
But
Son,
instead of
and then
just
he
leaving,
ran on afterwards, right? Because
yeah,
he's then in the next phase of play, right?
but
Yeah.
then he tried to curl it in. I mean, and it just obviously
Yeah.
curled round the post. If he'd done near post, he probably would have had a better chance. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good opportunity missed. But yeah, it was. Everyone was like Dean said. You know, we all can see it. What are they feeling? What are they looking at? What are they thinking? Because we all shout out, leave it, stand still, don't go." And he went like that. He stood still, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then Son went off and then did a spectacular miss,
I
which
mean,
is all too
if
common.
that had gone in,
Oh, no, yeah,
we'd have been cock a hoop, right?
oh,
But you're
mate,
just
yeah.
looking at it and you're going, Werner, he stood there, just like, fucking square it to
But
him, and that's it.
do you not
We're back in the game.
do you not
Surely,
think Son's trying to what's this? Don't you think Son is trying to prove himself because his performance is a bit poor? So he probably did see him, but thought, "Now fuck it, I'll do it myself." Going for the
maybe just
glory, more going
yeah,
for the glory for
maybe just
himself, but not for the team.
yeah, maybe he just saw the glory of it and wanted to be the hero. But it's just so frustrating because you've got to do what's right for the team. It's all about the
Yes,
team sport,
yes,
right? I
yeah.
mean, he gets his goal in the end
It's a go at the
anyway.
end. Yeah.
The one from Madison, and I have to say it was excellent. Like from where I was watching it, Madison he kind of went round a couple of them,
Mm.
quick-footed them, played it back, and then of course Son's not going to miss that. Puts it in the back of the net, and it makes it feel a little bit more respectable, especially when you know you've lost to two penalties. There's two penalties in that game, because I do think they were there for the taking. If we'd have been able to maintain that intensity that we'd showed in like the first sort of 10 minutes or so. Jason, let me ask you, what did you think of Bergvall when he came on? Because there's been a lot of criticism of him, 18-year-old kid, blah, 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 and people doubting this tag of Swedish wonder kid and all the rest of it. But what did you think about him when he came on?
He didn't make much of an impact, did he? He did a couple of decent things, but he didn't really stand out for me when he came on, and he hasn't stood out for me on any of the times that he's been in the team. Really, he had that unlucky moment against Galatasaray where he came on and where he was on, and then got substituted because we went down to 10 men, and it seemed to sort of affect him a little bit going off like that. He seemed really down, and he's not had time to get the experience of the league or anything. He's not had a chance to establish himself. And he was lauded when he arrived at the club, like Archie Gray has been. I think Archie Gray's been given a lot more chance, obviously, because of the positions that Archie can play in. He's had more of an opportunity, whereas Bergvall's quite limited to what he can do. So I think the kid, he is a kid, just needs to be given a little bit more time. I don't think we can pile in on him too quickly. And I think he has got the talent there because he's shown it in glimpses. He's got himself forward. He's had a few shots and a little bit shy in a tackle sometimes. I feel probably not strong enough for Premier League midfield at the moment, certainly in the way we are at the minute. He's certainly not the kind of Højbjerg type figure that we need
No.
in those positions. So yeah, it's a difficult one. I'm not going to pile in on Bergvall. He's only been with us a short period of time, and I'm sure in the new year he'll have his opportunities to stand up a little bit more.
Yeah, I get, the reason why I asked the question is because obviously with Bissouma picking up a yellow card, that puts him out of the Southampton game. I'm assuming that Bentancur will come back and play at Rangers because obviously he can't play in the Premier League, so gives him an opportunity to come back and keep his match fitness and so on, and fills that gap. But come Southampton, we won't have any Bissouma, so you know potentially he could be in the game at some point because obviously there are other options in there with Kulu and Maddison and so on, but potentially there is an opportunity for him to come in there. So that's why I'm asking the question. I did think there was a couple of opportunities, a couple of times he played to ball out wide to Timo. He didn't seem to get out manoeuvred, and he was quite sort of quick on his feet. Managed to put a couple of balls out wide to Timo, which I thought was pretty good. Dean, let me ask you then. Archie Gray came in for Van der Ven. Again, back in central defence. It's not his position. Majority of his position has been right back for Leeds when he was at Leeds, and then he comes in and he's played right back, left back, centre back, a fleeting a bit in central midfield. But what did you make of him when he came on in the game?
Yeah, I think Dewey's still out. I mean, it's only because he cost a lot of money. We all say, no, he's a young kid, he's coming from the league, but he's 40 million, so it's not to be sniffed at. So I don't know. It's his tracking back. That's what bothers me. Right? He's good with the ball and he makes a lovely pass, but then he sort of, he'll bomb upfield. But that's Ange's way. That's what he wants. But again, we don't track back and we don't get back quick enough. What I don't understand is you had Reguilon on the bench, right?
Yeah.
Why not use him? Right? We want a left back. Why not use him?
Do you think there's a clause in it or something that says
I
if he plays the game,
you've got
to extend his contract or something?
Yeah, something like that. They're trying to get rid of. They'll probably try and get move him on in January, so they don't want him to get hurt. Right, but why have him on the bench and don't use him? Why have Jez Spence on the right and we don't use him? Ange has got to take some of that responsibility, not using the players that we have, but then using all of our players, not rotating them. And then they get injured. They go, oh no, another injury. Yeah, because you can't keep running. It's like you can have the best car in the world, mate. You keep your foot flat on the floor. After a while, that's going to blow up. It don't matter what it is. So he's got to start manoeuvring or moving players about and going, right, okay, I'm going to put you on. This is your chance. It could be the shop window, for Reguilon. Could be the shop window because if I'm like Reguilon or Jed Smith, I don't want to stay there. There's no way I'm going to stay there if you don't want to pay me or you don't want to play me. So why not use them?
Yeah, no.
And then put Archie can play midfield. Stick him in the midfield.
Yeah, well, that's his favoured position, as I understand.
But we don't play him now.
Yeah. Alex, let me come to you. I'm going to ask you this question because I know you hate him. 4-star. I thought he saved us a few times on Sunday.
Don't hate him at all. I just think he's a big fucking lump. No, he did. Yeah, he kept us in the game a couple of times. But if you're a big bloke, I've said it before, and I say it when I train me daughter and all that, mates. If the keeper's big, they're not going to be able to get to the floor as quick as someone that's quite nimble. If you look at the penalties, well, the first one anyway, he went the completely wrong way, and I said he'd do that. Yeah, he kept it. He done a good job, but I just can't wait for Vicario to come back or Dean's mate. Give him a whirl because he's big. And he's got big hands, and it's his hands that keep saving the ball, obviously. But I'm just not impressed by him.
It's really interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting because, you're not impressed with him, but there is this little Argentinian fellow who reckons he was one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Little fella called Lionel Messi. He was brilliant.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a great goalkeeper, but I just think he's just too big. too big. He's not. The game's
Is it
moved
because
on.
you're so little? Is it because you're so little that you've got a bit of
Says
a
you. Says I'll stretch. I make. Oh, listen, mate. I'll
6
make
foot
you look
Lee?
like. I'll make you look like a fucking giant, Lee, when I'm standing next to you. What's the matter with you?
I know.
But no,
I know.
it's just like click on here. Look, I mean, do think the only thing I've got about him, right, is that little extra step that he doesn't take to dive for the ball. And I know it's only because again, my daughter and all that, and I've talked to the goalkeeper that trains her. It's this little step that they can make to get that extra couple of feet to go to save the ball when they're diving. And he doesn't. He's planted all the time. His feet are planted, and then he dives. He's got to take a little step and then dive, do it really quickly. You know, he's just planted, and he dive and it'll go in. But I mean, he's not going to save a penalty, is he? I mean, let's they're very,
There's
very
not many.
hard to save. But
There's
I
not many
just
that
think that
do.
no,
There's not many that
exactly.
do,
So
is there? To be fair.
no, you can't be too hard on him. But I just think if he's just not nimble enough for my liking. You know, Vicario, he's like a whippet, isn't he? You know,
Yeah.
where
But not
he
as assured on corners. I felt that we've been a lot better at corners. He's a bit more commanding in his box than maybe Vicario has been. I know Vicario is working on that, and he has been better. But I did feel that.
well, I
I
suppose
do feel that Forster has kind of shored us up a little bit. He's done some pretty good saves. I know we're not having the greatest of times, but I don't feel like he's one that's let us down. If I'm being honest.
No, no. He's a great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've just watched. I think it's the second one that goes in, and I'm right on what I'm saying. His feet are just planted. He's not nimble enough. He's a great keeper, and he's massive, and he does do some great saves. But he's just not taking an extra step when he's diving for the ball, and he's just not nimble enough for me. So hurry up and get someone in that can move quickly. You know. Give him a go. I don't know why we keep dragging him out. So, but yeah, no, I think he did. He did do. He kept us kind of in the game, but I think we really do need to. If we've got to wait a long time for Caro, it's a position where we need to get someone in because I
Yeah.
just don't think he's. I don't think he's just gone past his date. To be honest with you, so
Okay.
I
Well,
might be
look,
wrong. That's my biased opinion. He's not
Yeah.
nimble enough to be a goalkeeper.
Okay. Yeah. Although he's made his career out of it, but I just.
Yeah. But he's getting old now. He's getting old now. You know.
I don't think we can. I don't think there's a couple of other things because I know we're getting sort of fairly close to time. I know you guys have got lives as well, but
No.
I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to mention about the tifo. I thought it was really good. The tifo. I mean, big kudos out to the guys that organise, because I think the thing that people don't pick up is that is totally fan funded. It's totally fan organised. It's totally set up by fans and everything else. The club don't do anything to support them to do any of that. And I think that's probably the last time you'll see one at the Lane now. I get it. People were frustrated. People were upset and all the rest of it. And it starts off as a little bit of fun and all the rest and all that kind of stuff. But it ends up with basically people are going to get prosecuted. They're going to get banned. They're going to get thrown out. And that'll be it. That'll be the end of a tifo. And people do. You see a lot of complaints about the lack of atmosphere in the stadium, and everything people try to do to bring that atmosphere kind of, gets it. So I just wanted a bit of kudos to those guys for putting that work in. I thought it did look pretty good. The pictures I've seen that Jason took from the other end of it. Go on, sorry, Alex, you want to say?
No, I'll tell you about a better atmosphere. He's section off the fucking tourists, mate. I mean, Sunday was loud. The only last time I did that loud is when we played that Arsenal when we done them 3-0. It was loud. It was great. The atmosphere in the South Stand looked like it was brilliant. Where I am on the Shell side, nothing, because it's a tourist section. Scott, hello Scott. When he come along, I went, welcome to the tourist section, son. Someone's tried to sit in your seat already, but I've moved them on. You know, if they should section it off, if they want to make a great atmosphere, section it off.
But say there's some guys on Twitter that tried to organise a singing section, and again the club are not supportive of that. They've not helped them. They said it's going to be a singing section, but then opened it up for everybody to buy tickets there, which doesn't help. And that's what I'm saying. Every time you try to do something, and Joe has put in the comments here that it being fan fan funded, and he didn't know that. But that is absolutely true. It's THFC Flags on X. They do a lot of work with the big flags, all that kind of stuff, just to try to create this atmosphere and everything. But now I doubt very much you'll see that. You'll see that again.
Well,
to be honest with you, which I think personally I think is a bit of a shame, because they do add for a bit of a spectacle to it, and I think it's a good thing. The last thing I wanted to really talk about, and I know we haven't talked about Rangers and we haven't talked about Bournemouth, and it's probably a good thing we don't talk about Bournemouth, to be honest with you. But the big elephant in the room that we probably do have to talk about, we do have to address.
Well, that was the big thing in the room.
Is this, because again I've seen it commented that nobody was singing about Daniel Levy. That there is a lot of protests and stuff looking to be organised and all the rest of it. Now we're fairly, you wouldn't believe it, but we are fairly level-headed fans. These us four. It doesn't sound like it sometimes. I know that, right? But there was a lot of singing of Daniel Levy get out of our club. I don't know whether you guys could hear that from where you were, but certainly in the South Stand there was an awful lot of that. I'm just going to put my two pennyworth before I ask you for your opinion. But I absolutely, totally understand why people want Daniel Levy out of the club. I do worry about what would that look like, if I'm honest. A little bit of the better the devil you know, I guess. But that doesn't mean I'm against it and I'm Levy in or anything like that, because I'm absolutely not. Because I think if they sack the manager, it basically lets them off the hook again for another 18 months while they blag us with another project and another rebuild and another and all the rest of it. So I think it's about time they took responsibility themselves and actually did something that they said they were going to do, and back a manager to give him the tools that he actually wants and needs. Because we can see that whilst Ange may have his problems in terms of what he tries to do, if you've got the best players you can possibly have playing in a system like that, you can have entertaining football. And we want entertaining football as Tottenham fans, right? But it's got to be time for Daniel Levy to either step back totally and move on, get some kind of funding in for someone else to take over the football side of it, or move on altogether. But I just can't see it happening. Jason, let me come to you first. What's your stance on the Daniel Levy situation? Am I along the right lines, or are you an absolute, you guys got to go tomorrow?
When I saw people fall out on Sunday, shouting almost to the point of fighting against each other, own fans, just the vitriol towards Mr. Levy, and some of it towards Ange. It was quite balanced, to be honest with you. Some were saying Ange out, some were saying Levy out, some were saying both out. And from my personal perspective, I've backed the manager. I see there's potential still there, even though we've just had an absolutely torrid time. And I just want us to get to January, and then the other bit kicks in, Mr. Levy. So if he doesn't back him in January to fix what's gone wrong so far this season, then that's it for me. I think he needs to go. He's created this wonderful entertainment venue. He's created this wonderful portfolio of properties and potential hotels going up and all the rest of it. Fantastic. But it's our football club. Our football club. And that's what we care about. If he doesn't back him in January, then I'm sorry. I'd rather he went before Ange does, to be honest with you. We need to move on from this now. It's been too long. And I've remained steadfast in my opinions up to this point and said, give the guy a chance. In a few years' time, we'll be able to, sort things out and be competitive. But we just can't see it now. It's regressed, not progressed. And I lay the blame, with the board in that regard. So, January, no back in, off you go.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the sentiment. I think it's now the time to put your money where your mouth is you promised this and you haven't delivered, and it's about time you did what's right. But if you really cared about the club, you wouldn't carry on hanging around in the way you are, because it's dividing the club and it's going to end up destroying it if it's not careful. Dean, what's your view, mate?
Pretty much the same as Jason. When you think about what Levy has built, but also what he has destroyed, right? He's done it both in equal measure, right? The club's brilliant, not the club. The ground's brilliant, and the stuff that he's done surrounding is brilliant. He's kept on the right side of the financial fair play and everything else that goes with it. So that's where he should be. But what he does is he micromanages everything. So rather than let somebody take care of the footballing side, which is what he's supposed to have done with Johan Lang and Paratici, if he's still about, because he still goes to games, he's still sort of floating about. So, but he's not doing anything. He's not letting the people who know football do football. Daniel, he's Enoch's brilliant. Tottenham side of it, not so good. He's got to step right back and go, look, for the love of the club, I'm going to just concentrate on the commercial side of things. You concentrate on the football side of things. But he never will do. Not why it's making the amount of money it's making for him.
And that what this Scott Munn's supposed to be about, right? And Daniel Levy's supposed to have walked away from it and gone, right, I'll look after that. You look after the football side. You're a director of football, all that. I'm not director of football, but whatever they call it. You're supposed to look after all the football inside of it and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to sort out the hotel and the cheese room and the all that kind of malarkey, right? That's what he should be messing about with. Because if he genuinely loved this club, he'd see the damage that he is now causing, right?
Yeah.
That's my view. Alex, just what's your views on the Daniel Levy scenario? Do you just concur with Dean or?
No. Well, no, because Dean. We were speaking about this on Sunday night on the way home, Dean, weren't we? Sort of thing. Dean was explaining to me, which I didn't know, about players having like different clauses in their contracts, and Daniel Levy's brother-in-law involved, and being a player liaison and all that sort of stuff. But putting that aside, it doesn't make business sense where the company, what do you make, £300 million a year or something like that? Like Jay said, come January, where we need a goalkeeper that's nimble. If he doesn't spend any money, then it's quite clear that he's not interested in the club. If he was interested in why would he not be interested in it? Is why I can't get over. If it's such a success, and if he's such a great businessman, as anyone knows, if you're running a business, you've got to put money in for that business to progress and be the best it can be. And I can't understand why where the club he's in a position that he's in isn't doing that. But where everyone's chanting and, like Jay said, fighting each other, leave you out, do you honestly think he cares?
No
is the answer, because he's in his ivory tower looking at us. If people believe that's strong, don't go to the game. Go to the ground and stand outside. Have many thousands of people standing outside, outside the south stand instead of being in it, because that's the only way you're going to hit someone like that is in the pocket. How much do they make a match? Over £1 million just in the bar, I suppose.
Yeah, but it don't matter. That's the thing they'd make the same amount of money whether we turn up or didn't turn up, right? Because the TV, they'd make TV money. The money, the best time to do it is on a 3:00 kickoff, right? Because straight away, he's not getting TV money. So if nobody turns up, but we've already paid our bloody tickets,
you're right.
So it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
The thing is, I guess, like the question now is,
people.
The answer to this question, right, is that owners of football clubs don't need success on the pitch to have success in their bank balance, right? They make so much money from all the franchising, the TV, and all that it's just insane that they don't need. There's only so many trophies to play for each season, and they don't need to actually be successful for otherwise. Because if they did, you wouldn't have as many clubs around the country and the world that there are, because it's just it's so emotive and there's so much money in it that it's just it's just crazy. They don't need that. They don't need that that level of silverware to really matter.
I think the
They
way
don't
it's
care
going,
about it.
I mean, if they
Fans,
was,
right? For us,
if they-
silverware means everything. For the owners, it doesn't mean. It
not
might mean
bothered.
a little bit of extra
Yeah, they're not
profit,
bothered.
maybe.
yeah, it's just kudos.
You could have
That's all it is. It's just
instead of a. Go on, Dave. Sorry.
something to put in. It's something to put in the trophy cabinet. But for us,
Yeah.
it's a monkey off our backs that's constantly. What a trophy! What a trophy! You get that all the time from pricks that have never won a fucking trophy.
Yeah.
They think that the game actually started back in fucking 1992, but we'd won 26 fucking trophies. Right, but they go, well, you never won nothing. Champions of Europe, you never seen that. We was the first to fucking sing it. So
We're the
fuck off, you
first ones
pricks.
to do it. Yeah.
Right, so we as fans, we feel that. All the shit afterwards, all the Sky punditry where we're getting Spursy, inconsistent, and all that. We feel that personally. They don't give a
They
toss.
don't. Yeah, they don't.
If he needed that
like
money, right? If Levy needed that money, he would have named that ground by now, because he'd have got a fucking huge chunk of money in. That's how much he doesn't need the money.
Yeah, because it's better to have the advertising of the name Tottenham Hotspur Stadium above everything, rather than selling it and calling it the Amazon Arena or whatever. You might get a few 100 million for that, but the advertising of the name Tottenham Hotspur Stadium means more. And the emphasis being on the stadium bit rather than the Tottenham Hotspur bit, because it's about selling that venue for your Beyonces, for your NFL, for your F1, for your chucking yourself off the fucking side of the roof and all that. That's where all the money is. And that's what, and from a businessman, absolute brilliant businessman, knows how to make money. Absolutely, they're going to change the name of Tottenham to London Borough of Levy at some point, I reckon, because the amount of it he's going to own. So I guess to sum it all up, but the view really is, now's his time. He has to step up now, because if he doesn't, then it's going to get a lot worse than it is, and I think it could become very volatile.
How though, Lee? That's true. Because if people are fighting each other, like Jay said, if people are arguing and fighting with each other, because of the situation there, then that's a situation that you don't really want to see. I mean, if he's making all this money out of the name of the club and all the kit that gets sold and all that sort of stuff, all of a sudden the games aren't going to be Premiership games or Champions League games. It might as well just put an exhibition game on. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's mad.
I just think that rather than, I know people talk about boycotting games and stuff. That hits you in the pocket. It don't hit them in the pocket. It hits you on the pocket, right? The way that you have any kind of influence is to not go into the ground until kickoff, to leave the ground straight after kickoff, put your money in the pubs and the bars and the restaurants around the ground rather than that in the ground, right?
Like you
really
do.
kind of hit that pocket. Don't go in the shop. Don't go buying all the merchandise and all the rest of it. And then when you're in the game in the match, support the team, but then give them the both barrels at the times when you can. At half time, at the end of the game, at the beginning of the game, and all the rest of it. But you should still support the team. I go to football because I love my football club. I love spending times with my friends, the people that I've met over the years there. And I don't really want to give it up. It's a big part of all of our lives. We're all very involved in it. So it is very, very difficult. And like Dean says, you take it personally when you're getting ripped, about not winning trophies from fucking Southampton fans, for God's sake.
Yeah, but they don't.
He
doesn't care. He doesn't care.
No, he doesn't
care. He look down for his solid gold, balcony, looking at the peasants coming to his game, and he's not bothered. Put a gun to his head. That he might change his mind there.
I think it's going to get a lot worse. Now listen, I know we've run over, but if we can spend another just 5 or so more minutes, because there's been loads of questions put in the comments, so it'd be good if we could just address a couple of the comments.
Is one of them? What's that behind Alex?
No, they're saying, is that a self-portrait of Alex? So Brad says, are the next 3 games crucial for Ange to keep his job, or will the board back him and give him time? What are we saying? Are they going to back him?
I think he'll be backed because they won't want to sack yet another manager, right? Because they just won't. But like Jason said, soon as January window opens, if we're not in there buying stuff, that's not when they're going to turn on Ange. That's when they're going to turn on Levy, because Ange is going to be asking for these players. As much as Ange might turn around and say, "Well, no, I don't need them. I've got them. They're just going to come back from injury." No, go get them. Go get him, and if he doesn't back him, that's when they'll turn on Levy for sure.
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
We've got to win them. We've got to win. We've got to have a positive result on the next three, because he's the front man. Andy's the front man. He's going to get it unfairly, but he's at point, isn't he? If we don't win these next three games or have a good result on at least a couple of them, then he's on point, and he's the one that's going to take the brunt for the club. And
Yeah,
it'll be
I
him
think
that
he's
will
got,
but
Lee.
it'll be him that goes, do you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah,
And he will leave.
the problem Ange has got is his persona on the touchline, right?
Yeah, they've said
Because
that,
we all look at all the other running up and down, like go here, go here.
yeah,
You need to go over there, and Ange is sitting there sort
yeah.
of with his hands in his pockets or his arms crossed. That's what the fans don't like. He seems so emotive that he's going, yeah. So it looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, or he makes a substitution on the 85th minute when he should have made it on the 65th minute. That's the thing that riles most of the Spurs fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's him. That's how he plays.
So do you think, who was it who asked someone asked Mark, I think it was Mark says, so do you think that he will get a few more players in January? Do you think that's going to happen?
He has to. He
I
hasn't got a
know he
choice.
has to.
Yeah.
Do you think it will? Because I just got, there's another point made by Nigel where he says, if they plan on getting rid of Ange in the summer, they may not want to buy players for him in January. They'll want to hold on to the transfer funds for the new manager. What do you think?
It's going round, isn't it? Round and round and round in circles.
I mean, it's a good point, but
Yeah.
if they don't do anything, we could fall further and further and further down the league, right?
Yeah.
So again, then there's no European football. European football's money. Daniel don't like losing money, so Daniel's got to put his hand in his pocket and spend some to get some.
Yeah.
And obviously, wherever you finish in the Premiership, it tells you that's how much money you're getting as well, and how much money people like to watch. If you're getting beat every day, we still get a lot of TV time, but after a while they go, fucking hell, you ain't gonna want to watch that rubbish. So you don't get scheduled for the TV. You end up playing 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So
there was a poll on Twitter, on X, 5,000 votes on whether they want Ange in or Ange out. 80% Ange in, apparently. And then there was same for Levy, and over 80% want him out, which kind of shows you where the fan base are, right?
Yeah,
Kind of makes sense.
Levy is not going to go anywhere, Lee. He just isn't.
No.
He only too much money, but he should be able to step aside and like you say, let Scott Munn run the football inside. Scott Munn needs to be able to come forward, because Levy's the face of Spurs.
They need to get rid of him as the face of Spurs.
If I was Ange, I would turn around and go, right, the players I'm looking for live on TV is this, this, and this. You know, I'd like to have this player. I'd like to have this player. I need this and this and this. So hopefully, we'll go out and get them. Then he's put all these cards on the table. And if Daniel goes, no, we ain't going to buy anybody, then it's all going to be dropping in Daniel's plate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a plan. I've got an idea.
Go on, then.
Can I run it past you?
Yes.
Right. Dean looks like Ange, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. Right. Why don't we?
More flange than Ange.
Don't tell anyone, right? Shove Ange in the back of a transit. Drop Dean off.
I've got a transit.
Dean can make. Yeah, he's got a transit. Dean can make all the changes. We're tell Ange, like, what we're doing and what he's got to do when we drop him back off. Drop him back off. Dean comes back out. We got a team what we want. That's that.
Absolutely. Spot on. Great idea. Yeah. And on that note, I think we'll put there, because it's 1 hour 14 minutes. I think it's far too long for people to keep people entertained. So all that's left to say, to be honest with you, thank you to my panel, to Jace, to Dean, to knackered Alex and his gonk.
Yes.
It's great to have you guys on there. You do make me feel better. You give me a bit of a laugh and help me get things off my chest. Thank you to everybody who's been watching. Really appreciate it. Please do like it, share it, all that kind of good stuff, because it does help it grow. It gets the message out to other people who might want to come and listen to our terrible ramblings. But as I say, thanks very much for everybody. It's good to have you around, and we'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.
Up the Spurs.
Go on.